On an average, we can speak 100 words in 1 minute. On an average, we can hear 400 words in 1 minute. And on an average, our mind consumes 800 words in 1 minute. Hello and greetings. My name is Sanjay Ved. I'm going to talk on a topic which is make it, break it, and narrate it. As the data point suggests, human mind is neurologically designed in a way where we can consume much more than what is presented to us by a speaker or by a content in writing. That means while we are in a presentation, our minds can wander about our last holidays, upcoming holidays, children's schools, etc. Hence, we need to ensure that the data is presented accordingly. As a matter of fact, various management gurus have come up with various theories which have taken this thing into account. Skimming and scanning is one of such theories. Skimming is where a manager or an executive goes through large content of information or presentation and then absorbs as much information as possible. Scanning is when he looks for specific information in the content provided. They divide the information into small chunks of data which they consume and commit themselves mentally and physically in understanding and bringing logic into the information presented to them so that they can move to a decision. Hence, when preparing and making information, presentation, documents and presenting it, we have to break it up in a way which is consumable to the audience or the receiver of the message. Typically, when we have a communication, a movie or a story, we have some context, we have some form of the content in it, and then we have a climax followed by some form of conclusion or answer or resolution. However, if we look at the narration provided earlier, we find that the executives are looking at short data points so that they can conclude their decision-making process, given the fact that our span of attentions have reduced. And to this, there is this principle of pyramid-based decision-making by Barbara Minto, which is called Minto's pyramid principle. Barbara Minto is an HBS alumni, and some 40 years back when she joined McKinsey, she found that the consultants and the executives there were struggling to structure their information and put their best arguments up front so that they could have given a roadmap to their customers to make decision. And hence she came up with the Minto's pyramid framework. In the Minto's pyramid framework, she puts the hypothesis at the top, or the answer or the solution right at the beginning, so that if there is any agreement or disagreement, it's early. Second, in the middle of the pyramid, she puts all the various arguments, and which is typically 3 to 4 arguments. And the bottom of the pyramid are all the data points for those arguments. I'll give you 3 arguments in favor of this particular principle. STM, short-term memory. Second one is in terms of roadmap, and the third is structure. Let's start with the first one, which is STM. STM is a method, short-term memory method, which was coined by Atkinson Schwerin, and which says that any human being has at best 15 to 25 seconds of memory and can remember at best 7 things plus minus 2, which means 7 plus 2 things, which is 9, or 7 minus 2, 5 things, and even better 3 or best 1 thing. So when you look at the context of this framework, you will find that we are giving one solution by 3 or 4 different arguments, which is memorable and recallable by the receiver of the message. The second thing is decision making. Now the roadmap part of it, where while the consultant or the executive who is preparing a presentation, a report, or some form of written or verbal communication might be a subject matter expert or might be an authority in his field and know a lot of things, the receiver, on the other hand, is looking for precise information, doesn't want to know everything, right? Remember what I mentioned in the beginning of our skimming and scanning? They're using that principle here, that method to scan through the data and come to some contextual information to make decision. So what they're looking for is a roadmap for them to take a solution which this principle, pyramid principle, offers them. The third one is of the structure. Let me tell you a story. One fine Sunday morning, I was wearing my shoes, getting ready for my morning routine to go to the gym, and my wife calls me from the kitchen and says, "Honey, can you go to the supermarket and get me some milk?" And I said, "Of course, honey, I will." By the time I was wearing my jacket, and my wife tells me again, "Honey, I just realized, looking at the fridge, there is carrot, there is cucumber, there is cheese, there is butter, there is pineapple, which is also which you can bring." I said, "All right, honey, I will bring it." And then by the time I reach the door, my wife calls again, "Honey, by the way, I also realized there is carrot and cauliflower and potatoes as well." Okay. I finished my exercise, went to the grocery store, and here I am at the grocery store looking and trying to remember what all she said. Can you remember what she said? Well, there were 9 things. On the hindsight now, looking back, I can remember that time it was difficult. But these 9 things had a categorization in it. If we look at it carefully, there are 3 categories in this. There is vegetables, there is fruits, and there is dairy products. There is vegetables, which is potato, onion, and the carrot she asked me to bring. There are fruits, which are apple, banana, and pineapple she asked me to bring. There is dairy product, which is the milk, butter, and the cheese she asked me to bring. So now I have these various data points categorized into 3 sections, and which is the grocery shop. Easy, right? Now imagine if the same thing was done in business. We present to whoever we have to, in terms of presentation, verbal or written communication, a structured logical format. And the same theory can apply to when writing reports or even books. Paragraphs are made with sentences which are logically arranged together. Various paragraphs are logically arranged to make a chapter, and various chapters come together making a book. So hence, the brevity is the soul of the wit. And with this, you will be able to do the 7 C's of communication: clear, correct, concise, concrete, coherent, courteous, and complete communication. Remember, it is not the voice that commands the story, it's the ear. Thank you very much.